Okay, let's try this. This Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today's the 11th of March, and it's like 45 degrees out, maybe even 50. It's Friday, we're going into the weekend. This here, what I'm going to show you, is a follow-up from last spring. I did a video called Hog Heaven, I believe. But what that video was about, maybe I can coax you to go through some of them and look at it, but I have a field that was a hay field, but there was only a small portion of it that I could actually get on. And I may have mentioned that this field is a field that when we first bought this farm, I got stuck on. And I got stuck right down in here. See, there's a spring that comes out right there. And there's nothing you can do. This is going to be wet. And it runs across the field. Then it accumulates in that pond right there. The pond got kind of dammed up by some of the chillins, so they could have fun in it. And now it's pretty good, but I'm going to break that dam and let that water out. And there's a river over that way that it'll run into. But anyway, if you look at that video, this field when we started, it was really thick because we couldn't get on it to cut hay and things like that. It really didn't get used. It just had trees growing on it, and it was kind of a dead spot. You know, it didn't get used for anything agricultural at all. It was like a little wildlife area, and the kids had fun down here. But we have several places like that, but it needed to be utilized. So we fenced it. We put electric fence down by the base. My sons did that. And then we turned about 140 pigs on it. And they were small when we turned them onto it. And this is what they've done. You know, look at this. In a year. All right? Completely defoliated. They've shown us all the places where the springs come out. We can see it very clearly where the water comes out. Right now we just had snow melt off, so it's not clear maybe in this video, but I've seen it in the wintertime because there was actually open water that was running. But what we have, you might look at this and say, oh gee, what a mess. It looks like a war zone. This was all bulrushes in here, and you can see they've all been uprooted, most of them. Still a little patch right here. And the stumps are laying up on top. Pigs did that because they like to eat the bark off of the roots. If I had got in here with a machine, not only would I get stuck a lot, I would have left a lot of perspiration here, and I probably wouldn't have done it. I didn't do it. But turning the pigs in, they did it for me. Now all I have to do, I kind of missed my window because it's so wet right now, it's actually muddy. I can't really drive on it. So in order to seed this, I'm going to have one of the kids do it. And we'll just use one of those little whirly gigs, you know, a $20 seeder, broadcast seeder. And then a person can just walk a pattern here. And we can do several different types of seeds. It doesn't have to be all the same thing. We're going to do a lot of pumpkins right around the pond. And then, you know, as it gets wetter and drier, you know, we'll plant different things in there accordingly. And the weed seed bank is huge, so we're going to get a ton of growth coming out of this. We've fed on it all winter long, so there's a lot of nutrient on it. It's a little, just a tiny bit smelly. Just a tiny bit. So these pigs are coming off as soon as this field's a little drier. You can see I got my crew over there throwing bread to them. As soon as it's a little bit drier, I'm going to move the pigs off of here. But I got to be able to get down here with a truck and trailer and put them up on a little bit different field. But this is going to be something to watch. I look forward to this with anticipation because this field is naturally wet. It's never been farmed because it's so wet. The soil is muck. You know, it's just muck soil. And then we've added a pile of nutrient with it with all this manure and urine. These pigs were little when we put them on here, and look at them now. There's half of them could go to slaughter today. We just have no freezer space right now. So this is going to be really interesting to watch. Now, what I'm looking for is tonnage per acre of forage for these animals to eat. So I'm gonna do this in swaths. I want to do field peas. I know I want to do turnips. They've always worked good. I want to find out what works really good on wet stuff. I mean, really wet, because this is really wet. And then the drier area out there, maybe we'll put some. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's on sale. But anyway, this is going to be something that I'm going to want to come back and show you. It's about, on the map, it's about 8 acres, I think. And the pond, I would say, is about an acre. And another thing that we're going to do with ponds this year, if I can afford it, I'd like to get them dredged out a little bit so they're a little bit deeper. That one froze out, I'm sure. It froze right to the floor. But there's several other ponds. I want to dredge them out, and then I want to start putting fish in every year. And I'm going to separate the ponds by species of fish and, you know, make those work for us. A friend of ours dumped some goldfish in one of the irrigation ponds, and holy smokes, those things grow. Okay, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Anyone can farm.